Hello children, welcome to Science with Savi. Today I have come up with another topic from the lesson which we are doing from class 10 science, and that is lesson number 6, life processes. So from this chapter we have already completed nutrition, we have completed respiration. You will find the link of the entire playlist in the description box, okay? So from the same chapter I have come up with another interesting topic, and that is excretion. So in this video, in today's class, we are going to discuss everything about excretion. We will see that why excretion is important, what kind of waste are released in excretion. We will talk about the human excretory system and everything related to it. Okay, so let's just begin the class. Our body works like a machine. It's a continuous process, so many different processes which are going on simultaneously, okay, day and night. So in all these metabolic reactions, metabolic processes which is going on in our body, a lot of metabolic waste is also generated, okay. So there are a lot of waste generated which is toxic for the body and it needs to be removed. So that is done by the process of excretion. So you can take the definition that excretion is the removal of waste products from the body. So what are these waste we are focusing on? These are the nitrogenous waste. So when we will be talking excretion, we are specifically dealing with the excretion or removal of nitrogenous waste from the body. Nitrogen is a very important part of protein, okay? Whatever food which we are taking has nitrogen in it, and it is also generated at waste in all the metabolic processes which is going on in the body, and it has to be released. That is very important. One thing I would like to mention here, that excretion and egestion is completely different. When I am talking about passing stool, that is egestion. That is the undigested food which is left, it's stored in the large intestine and then it is thrown out of the body, okay? We remove it in the form of feces. And when I'm talking about excretion, it is a removal of nitrogenous waste product in the form of urine. That is, urine formation is mainly concerned with excretion. So when we are talking about excretion, the most important thing which you need to understand is that nitrogenous waste product are the major waste which has to be released from the body. Now these nitrogenous waste in animals are formed in three categories. They are formed in three forms. These are the ammonia, urea and the uric acid. So these are the major forms in which the nitrogenous waste is released out of the organisms. So depending upon what kind of nitrogenous waste is the animal excreting or the animal is removing from the body, we can divide the animals into three categories. This is very important, okay? So we can divide animals as ammonotelic, ureotelic and uricotelic. It is very clear from the name itself. Ammonotelic animals are those animals which release ammonia as a major nitrogenous waste product formed in the body. They will be releasing ammonia. Now this ammonia is highly toxic, very, very toxic. It cannot, stay in the body because it is very, very poisonous for the body. And this ammonia requires a large amount of water because it is highly soluble in water. So a large amount of water is needed to remove the ammonia from the body. So this ammonia is removed as a major waste product only in those animals which have abundant of water in them. That is the aquatic animals. So all the animals which fall into the groups of Echinoderms, the porifera, the crustaceans, cnidarians, all kind of fishes, they are ammonotelic because they have enough water. They easily dissolve the ammonia in the water and they release it out of the body. So all these animals are ammonotelic. Now we come to the next name, which is ureotelic. From the name itself, it's clear. That is, they are removing the nitrogen waste in the form of urea. So urea is lesser toxic, okay? It is lesser toxic than ammonia and it requires lesser amount of water. So the animals, which animals will release urea? These are all the mammals, all the kinds of mammals. Even we human beings are releasing the nitrogen in the form of urea because it does not require more water. Now just imagine if we have to remove ammonia from the body, almost all the water from the body will be drained out. The animals will suffer from dehydration because we cannot afford to, lose so much of water from the body. So we are not releasing ammonia, we are releasing in the form of urea, okay? So there are many kind of organisms which are releasing in the form of urea. The next category of animals are the uricotelic, okay? Uricotelic means they are releasing uric acid. They are removing the waste in the form of uric acid. This uric acid is very, very less toxic and it requires least amount of water. Very little amount of water is needed for the removal of uric acid. So uricotelic organisms are those like birds. They are terrestrial arthropods, like all the insects, the snakes, the lizards. They release the nitrogen in the form of uric acid. So when you see, the birds, you will see a white pasty substance which they are, removing from the body. That is actually the removal of uric acid, because they need least amount of water is needed for the removal of uric acid. So this is very important. Okay, please understand this, that nitrogenous waste released by the body can be divided into three parts, that is ammonia, urea and uric acid. And there are some organisms which release ammonia, there are some which release urea, and some release uric acid. So accordingly they are named as ammonotelic, ureotelic and uricotelic. So with this we move to the next important part, and that is a human excretory system. In human beings there is a separate system which is dedicated completely, which deals with the excretion of the waste product, excretion of the nitrogenous waste. So this is the most important topic which I am going to start now. The human excretory system plays a very important role. There are two important functions. One is, we know that removing the nitrogenous waste out of the body because it is very toxic. And second is also, it also maintains the balance of water and salt in the body. That is also very important function which is done by the kidneys, which are a part of the human excretory system. And this is also known as osmoregulation. So now we will move and see what are the different organs which are involved in the human excretory system. You will see here in the picture that there are a pair of kidneys. There are two kidneys attached with the kidney. There are thin tubes which are coming out of the kidney. These are called the ureter. So there are two kidneys, there are two ureter, one tube each from the kidney, and these two ureter come and enter a urinary bladder. It is a muscular bag-like organ which you see here in the figure. This is called the urinary bladder. And this urinary bladder opens into a urethra. Okay, and through the urethra, the urine which is formed is passed out. So these are the organs which are there in the human excretory system. A pair of kidneys, a pair of ureter, one urinary bladder, and urethra. So one by one we will see all the organs. So first we will talk about the kidney. There are two kidneys. They are reddish brown in color and the kidneys are bean shaped. And they are situated in the posterior wall of the abdomen and they lie behind the intestine. Now here in the kidney, you see, look at the shape of the kidney. You will find at the center, in the inner concave surface of the kidney, you find a notch, and this is called the hilum. This is the hilum, is the place where all the, the blood vessels enter, the nerves enter the kidney, and also the ureter enters the kidney. So this place is called the hilum. Now this kidney is surrounded by a capsule which is called the renal capsule. It is a thin, tough and transparent layer of connective tissue and it protects the kidney. Okay, this is the renal capsule. Inside the kidney, if we do a frontal section of the kidney, that is, I divide the kidney, if I cut it from the middle of the kidney into two halves, you will find that there are two regions. You see here in the picture, it's very clearly visible. There are two regions. One is the outer region, which is called the renal cortex, and there is an inner region, inner zone, which is called the renal medulla. Okay, and this kidney is made up of the smallest functional units. These are called the nephrons. That is, each kidney has around 1.5 million nephrons. So all these nephrons are tightly packed inside the kidneys. Okay, and these nephrons play the most important role in filtering the blood. We will come to it again after some time. From the two kidneys, you will find two tubes coming out, and these are called the ureter. These two ureter come and they end up into a muscular sac-like organ, which is the urinary bladder. This urinary bladder stores the urine. It swells up by the storing of urine, and when this urinary bladder is completely filled with the urine, it gets a message from the brain. The person feels an urge of urination, and then the urine comes out from a thin tube, which is the urethra. Here you will see the urinary bladder opens up into the urethra. This urethra is the place from where the urine is passed out. So this urethra arises from the bladder and it helps in removing the urine out. And it is guarded by, the opening of the urethra is guarded by a sphincter, which controls the opening and closing of the urethra. So these are the important organs which are there in the human excretory system. Another important thing which we need to understand is the blood supply to the kidney. We need to understand the blood vessels which are connected to the kidney. So here in the figure you will find that there are two blood vessels which are entering and leaving the kidney. So I am coming to that now. So the blood, oxygenated blood, oxygen containing blood enters the kidney from the renal arteries. Okay, so the two renal arteries, the right and left renal arteries, they enter into the kidney and they bring oxygen containing blood. Along with oxygen, there are lot of nitrogenous waste which is present in the blood. Okay, this blood can also be called as the dirty blood. So this dirty blood containing the waste enters into the kidney through the renal arteries. Inside the kidney, we have the small units called the nephrons, which are doing the main work of filtering the blood. The dirty blood which has entered the kidney through the renal artery is filtered inside the kidney through these nephrons. And then the clean blood, that is which is free from the nitrogenous waste, leaves the kidney from the renal vein, and then it joins the inferior vena cava and it will go and reach the heart. So the kidney is acting as a filter in this case. So the two blood vessels which enter and leave the kidney, the renal artery is bringing the dirty blood into the kidney and the renal vein is taking the clean blood from the kidney to the heart. So this is all about the structure of the human excretory system and the blood vessels which are connected to it. So this is very important because when you will understand this, only then you will be able to understand that how this, that filtration of blood is formed. So the blood which contains oxygen and also the waste product, this blood passes into the kidney, it gets filtered out. From this blood only the urine is formed. Okay, so the clean blood, the blood is filtered out, the nitrogenous waste is left behind in the kidney, and the clean blood leaves the kidney through the renal vein, and the nitrogenous waste which is left behind in the kidney is further processed, and this forms the urine, from which this urine passes from the kidney through the ureter, gets collected in the bladder, and then it is thrown out through the urethra. So this is all I'm going to take up in today's class. In my next class, I will be talking in detail about the structure of nephrons, and also we will see that how the urine formation takes place in the kidney. So children, stay tuned. Concentrate, focus, because this topic is very important. If you understand it once very clearly, it will always settle in your mind. You will never forget it. I've made the video in such a way so that it's very clear to you. You easily understand the concept of this, and I will be coming up with the second video very soon. So by the time, keep liking it, keep sharing it, and subscribe the channel for sure. And please share with more of your friends. Okay, that will be a great motivation for me. So we will meet again. By the time, keep exploring, keep learning. Bye bye.